Ron Phipps is with us. Ron is the president of the National Association of Realtors. Ron, as I know, the number that Peter was quoting, you're quoting that. You're saying 7,000 realtors are descending on the Hill today.
Right.
How many of them are actually on the Hill because of this issue, though?
Betty, we have our mid-year meetings, but the reason we meet in D.C., frankly, is to make sure that the value of home ownership for all Americans is apparent, and particularly the decision makers in D.C. And the mortgage interest deduction is one of three primary issues that we are sharing with our members of Congress to say this is critical, this is very important, not just for the 45 million Americans who have mortgages, but frankly for the 75 million Americans who own homes. It has a direct impact on value.
And the argument, of course, Ron, that you heard over and over again, and which I'll repeat right now, is that, look, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, defense, all of that is on the table when we talk about the budget. So why should this particular issue that you're talking about be protected?
Betty, the reason it's so important is that housing has been a critical element of this country since the first breath of the Republic. And the mortgage interest deduction has been part of the tax code since 1913. And we really shouldn't have my grandparents, my parents, and me benefiting from it and have a generational theft where my children and grandchildren are denied it.
Right,
it's really important. And candidly, if we believe in self-reliance, the average family that rents has a net worth of about $4,600. The average family that owns has a net family worth of $180,000. So for self-reliance, it makes a lot of sense for this country to support home ownership.
But I mean, I don't know if legacy, though, is a reason enough to keep something like this on the table. I mean, some are saying, look, housing prices have fallen, 30, 40%. That in itself is a deduction or is a cut for people that are looking to buy a home. Is there really anybody out there who's not going to buy a house because they're not going to get the tax deduction?
I actually think there definitely are. And frankly, what we're concerned about is that we further compromise the movement towards stability in the marketplace if that deduction is not available. The other piece of it is it's a very important middle-class benefit. 65% of the people who take the deduction earn less than $100,000. 91% of the people who take the deduction earn less than $200,000. So it really is the first rung on the ladder of home ownership. We believe it's pivotal. It's critical.
Ron, this is Peter Cook on the Hill. Let me ask you, this is a tax deduction that has a lot of popularity here on the Hill, and it's going to be very hard to change it. But would your group be willing to at least consider limiting this deduction going forward, particularly for people who have second homes and more importantly, for wealthier Americans, again, as an effort to try and get the budget deficit down?
Peter, frankly, there already is a limit. There's a maximum limit that your lead-in identified of 1.1. We believe that really focuses on the limit that is necessary. I reiterate, 91% of the people who take this deduction earn less than $200,000. We think that speaks volumes simply for what it is.
Ron, appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much. Ron Phipps, the president of the National Association of Realtors, talking about the mortgage interest tax deduction and that issue.